I thought that might have been a game where United controlled it. United cruised it. Oi, 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 oi. United basically sneaked it. Raphael Varane with the winner. Manchester United 1-0 winners there. Varane the difference maker. But Onana, not really for the reasons that I expected him to in his first game. Coming up clutch with some big claims, some big saves. I thought that was probably a penalty towards the end. But VAR, we love you. Gee, 3 points and a clean sheet from the first game. Happy days on the surface when you look at it like that. But when you look at the game itself, Wolves had the run of the game. Wolves had the run of the midfield. Casemiro looks like he's aged about 15 years in the summer. I'm hoping that's just pre-season. It will take him time to come into it. But Raphael Varane, man, in a game which lacked utter quality. Anyway, really, it was abysmal from United for the large portion, the overwhelming majority of that game. I don't think we were particularly deserved winners, but Bruno with that ball from Bruno over to Wan-Bissaka, first time lofted cross to Varane. Varane coming up clutch with the goal, and look at that for a celebration. Hoy, he's had an up and down career at Manchester United, mainly because of injuries, mainly because of fitness, but that was an important moment, an important goal in a game where we needed it, man. We struggled. We struggled in that first half. Garnacho shouldn't have started. I didn't think he should have started against Wolves. I think he should have been Sancho. Rashford, non-existent through the middle. And even when he had the ball, his touch was all over the shop. Anthony, decision-making, woeful. Midfield, non-existent. That was a bad game. That really was a bad game and a bad performance. But let me focus on the positives first. And I really want to zone in on Andre Onana. I've been hailing Andre Onana and the difference that he's going to make to this Manchester United team in terms of the build-up, in terms of the ability to soak up pressure from the opposition. That game there tonight, while there were a couple of occasions where you go, that was a wicked part. I think it was one pass he did over to Garnacho in the first half. It was more about his goalkeeping, his shot stopping, which is what a lot of people have actually been questioning whether he is good enough at it. Hey, he was rash, okay? He was rash for that ball over the top. And as soon as it went there to VAR, I was looking at it going, hey, that looks like a penalty. Looks like a penalty. But VAR decided not. I mean, technically, no. I would be annoyed if United didn't get that penalty at that moment in time, which tells me it was a penalty. But hey, we got away with it. But that cross that he claimed right at the death, it's an element of the game that David De Gea was not comfortable in doing. He would prefer to stay rooted to his line and trust in his own shot-stopping ability. Onana showed a little bit of everything there tonight. And I don't think we would have won that game if it wasn't for him. He didn't make any spectacular saves. It wasn't like a heroic performance. But it was a really strong, overall, solid performance from a goalkeeper. A goalkeeper who we were looking at to go and improve the distribution and the build-up play. But there tonight, it was about his shot-stopping ability as a proper goalkeeper. And we needed that because we just didn't have the quality on that pitch. And I think, look, Wan-Bissaka is a player who, game after game, as his United career goes on, just makes me look dumber and dumber. I got him so wrong, man. Tell you what is it? Was it Wang who came on towards the end there? I'm not sure what the name of the Wolves sub was, but they were so dangerous, right? Wan-Bissaka, with that moment of quality, Wan-Bissaka had a good game overall. Probably didn't. I'm not sure there's anybody who really had a good game overall apart from Onana. But I have to focus in on this point, right? If I'm going as Onana as the main positive from that game, I've got to pull out Casemiro and Manchester United's overall midfield shape as the big negative. Casemiro, I'm hoping that's Casemiro still shaking the cobwebs off because he didn't have much pace anyway, right? But he looked like he lost it all. And he plays quite an aggressive game, loves being on the front foot. And 4, 5, 6 times in that game, Wolves just dinked past him, went into the space, and Man United were wide open. And we're fortunate the Wolves didn't score. And I think that's going to be a problem that repeats itself across the course of the season. It's why I'm not even sure if Amrabat's that style of midfielder. That's where someone like Amadou Onana from Everton would fit into that sort of physical defensive profile, whereas Amrabat is somebody who is more, quality at bringing the ball out from the back. But look, if Man United go out and sell Maguire and McTominay, we should have enough money to go out and get Onana and Amrabat. And I would question whether we've got the midfield quality to play across the course of the season. Bearing in mind, this was a Wolves team, right, that I was absolutely backing us to smash. Maybe not smash. I thought it would be a comfortable, controlled 2-0 win. That was my prediction. Live show earlier, it was 3-0, 3-0, 2-0, 3-1. It was a 1-0 scrapper that left you looking through your fingers towards the last 10 minutes. It worked. We kept the clean sheet. Onana did very well towards that last 10 minutes, but it was not the game that anybody expected. It was certainly not the game that he expected. I fully thought that United would come out, control the game, force Wolves to sit deep, and eventually break them down. Instead, it was Wolves breaking us down. Wolves breaking through our press at the front and finding so much space in midfield that they could do what they wanted with it. Luckily, their finishing is worse than our finishing was last year, and they didn't finish any of their chances. But Casemiro, it's going to be a problem. Alejandro Garnacho, I don't think should have started that game, and I think Ten Hag made a bit of a mistake with that one. And I felt it was quite obvious that Garnacho shouldn't have started that game. Wolves were going to sit deep. Wolves weren't going to give much space in behind. And it's exactly what proved to be the case. And Garnacho tried, but so far, when Garnacho started, I think it was Leeds. Was it Leeds at Old Trafford last season? That was one of his first starts, and he just got bullied off the ball. He was getting pretty manhandled there tonight, and it seems like that's a way to stop Garnacho at this stage in his career. He's 19. It's not a slight, but I think Sancho should have started through the middle, and Rashford should have started on the left, because I think Rashford there tonight was absolutely ineffective. First like half an hour of the game, he hardly touched the ball, and then when he did touch the ball, it was like a Romelu Lukaku touch, and then he's like, "What are you doing?" And then when he shifted out to the left, he looked a little bit more dangerous, but still, all of Man United's attackers in the first half, Antony's decision making was all over the shop. There was one, but you're talking about positive in the first half. There weren't that many. When he went on the outside of his man, I thought, oh, no, you've learnt something there. That's something new. Didn't see that last season. But overall, just in those moments where Antony was faced with two choices, it was the wrong choice every time. The decision making from Antony was poor. The threat from Garnacho wasn't there. Rashford was pretty invisible. It was no wonder that United struggled so much in that first half. But I have to go back to it here. It's like, that move there was a real moment of quality. It was Bruno with the ball over the top. Bruno, the difference maker. I mean, who could possibly have predicted that, apart from everybody? He's going to be our captain in his performances this season. I'm absolutely certain of it. I'm backing him to be our player of the season. That pass there, just Wolves didn't know what to do. Ball in behind. Wan-Bissaka, first time, and Varane was there. And as I said, the celebration there. I suppose the first game of the season, you can brush the cobwebs off. You can do what you want. It was a mixed preseason. I wasn't expecting United to come up and put up trees, but it's Wolves at Old Trafford after a summer where they've got rid of Jimenez, Neves, Moutinho, and their manager left 4 days ago, right? That should not have been a team where United struggled to break down. Now, we did break them down. So the result there is what is important. A clean sheet and 3 points to kick-start the season at Old Trafford. Good. But we go to Spurs next weekend. Good thing about Spurs, they're definitely going to leave the gaps in behind. And Onana could have fun with his balls over the top for Rashford, for Antony, and probably for Sancho, who I think will start next week. But what's your overall view of that game? As I said, my big concern after that game is Casemiro. I'm hoping that it's more fitness related than anything else, and he's a bit like Wayne Rooney. You know how Rooney always took time to get to match fitness and sort of get back to his best. I'm hoping that Casemiro shows that as well, because the Casemiro there looked like a Casemiro who was 5 years older than last season. He didn't have much pace at all last season, so you take that out of his game. And it's because we're playing such an aggressive style of play that he has to cover a lot of ground and allow Bruno and Mount to be the two aggressive pressing midfielders. Mount, I thought, didn't do too much. I thought off the ball he was quite good. On the ball, he didn't really offer too much. Bruno was the difference maker with that pass, but it was Wan-Bissaka, it was Onana, it was Varane. They're the three players that I would pick out from that game. And I probably would give man of the match to Onana. I probably would. Who would you give it to? You let me know in the comments below. But I didn't expect that in that game. I expected it to be controlled and composed, and it wasn't. There was no urgency. There was no real control at all. And we struggled to play through the middle, and Wolves just had the run of the mill. That midfield was just overrun for the whole game. That can't happen. We do that against Arsenal or Spurs. In our next two away games, or our first two away games, they're going to run all over us. But 3 points, clean sheet, I'm taking that. That's a positive, right? It definitely is.